Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Crown Academy of English. Today is an English vocabulary lesson and the subject is Business English Part 1. So, in this lesson you will learn 7 English expressions that we often use in business. So let's start. Now there are 2 ways to pronounce this. We can either say ASAP or ASAP. So with 2 pronunciations, ASAP or ASAP. And this is an acronym or an abbreviation. So each letter is in fact a word. So it means as soon as possible. ASAP. As soon as possible. In other words, very quickly. So when we ask someone, do something ASAP or do something ASAP, we're asking them to do something very quickly, immediately. Example. So your manager asks, have you read the reports? And Mark replies, no, not yet. And the manager says, well, it is very urgent. Please do it ASAP. Or please do it ASAP. Okay, so if your manager says this to you, he wants you to do it very quickly. And another very, very common example is when we're talking on the telephone, we call someone, the person is not there, and we leave a message. So Claire is calling John. John does not reply, so Claire leaves John a message. Hello John, please call me back ASAP. Thanks. So this means that Claire wants John to call, she wants him to call her back. Okay? Back to square one. Back to square one. So let's talk about the origin of this expression. So here we have a board game, a bit like Monopoly. And in a board game, if you make a mistake, you must return to the first square, or you must return to square one. So this is the origin of the expression, back to square one. So the meaning is to start something again. You have to start all the way from the beginning. You have to go back to the beginning and start again. So let's give a business example. There is a problem with the accounts software. The programmer has found the problem and he has fixed it. Okay, so here's the programmer and he's now fixed the problem, or he thinks he has fixed the problem, because unfortunately the problem is still there. It is not fixed. And now the programmer is back to square one. Okay, he's back to square one. He has to start finding the problem all over again. Okay, he's back to square one. He's back to the beginning. Small talk. Small talk. Small talk is conversation about unimportant things. Things that are not important. We often talk about the weather or your holidays, that sort of thing. And we often make small talk at parties with people that we don't know, or conferences. Okay. So notice the expression we say to make small talk. Make small talk with someone. Okay. So here's a very common example. So 2 people at a party, they don't really know each other. Claire says, it's beautiful weather, isn't it? And Sarah says, yes, it's very warm for the time of year. Okay, so they're making very polite conversation with each other. They're just sort of, we call this making conversation. Okay. And in this context, we say Claire and Sarah are making small talk. They're just talking really to be polite. They don't really know what to talk about. Okay. They don't want to talk about politics or religion. So they just talk about the weather or your holidays, or what they can see. Okay, so this is small talk. Now, small talk is obviously also done in business. And people often make small talk at the start of a business meeting or before the business meeting starts. And this is because it is quite rude to immediately start talking about business. Particularly if you're with a client, if you're with a customer and you're meeting them for the first time. You don't want to immediately start talking about numbers and prices. You want to first of all talk about something else. So here is an example. John says, "Good morning, David. Did you watch the football last night?" David says, "Yes, hello, John. Yes, it was a good result for France." Okay, so this is small talk. Here, John and David are making small talk at the beginning of the meeting. And in fact, John and David make small talk for about 5 minutes at the beginning of the meeting. Okay, so 5 minutes later, John says, "Right, shall we get down to business?" So shall we get down to business? So this means, shall we stop the small talk and start talking about work, start talking about business? So get down to business. This is a very good expression. To get down to business, it means, okay, let's stop making small talk and let's start talking about work. So David says, "Yes, I'd like to show you our latest catalogue." And then they continue to talk about work. Okay, so you make small talk at the beginning of a meeting and then you get down to business. Snail mail. So what is this? Well, first of all, I'm sure you already know what mail is. But what about snail? Well, snail is this little creature. It's a very, very slow animal that walks very slowly. So, why am I talking about this? Well, let's look at a sentence. Mark says, "I will send you the information by mail." By mail. So what does mail mean in this context? Well, it could mean, maybe mail means electronic mail. So maybe Mark is going to send me an email. Or maybe Mark means traditional mail, by post. Maybe he's sending me the information by post. But we don't know, so it's not clear. It's not clear if Mark means email or post. It's not clear, is it? We're not sure. We say that this is ambiguous. So, since it is not clear, we say snail mail if we mean by the post. So if you want to say mail for the post, then in English we often say snail mail. And of course we say snail mail because the postal system is often very slow. It's slow compared to email. Email is fast and snail mail is slow. So we call it snail mail. So here is an example. Claire says, "The company sent me their catalogue by snail mail." On your toes. If you are on your toes, it means that you are alert and concentrating. And the origin of the expression is from sports like tennis, for example. You can see here the tennis player, the boy, the tennis player, he is on his toes. Okay, he is on his toes. So it means when he's standing on the tips of his toes. And because in that position you are very alert and concentrating, you can move very quickly when you're on your toes. Okay, so that's what this means, alert and concentrating. So an example. So the example is in a restaurant, and it gets very busy between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. And so at 11:45 a.m. just before the busy period, the manager says to the staff, "We are going to be busy soon. Stay on your toes. Stay on your toes." So the manager is saying to his team, okay, we're going to be busy soon. Stay alert. Stay concentrated. Okay, keep concentrating. Be alert. Okay, it's going to be busy now. Okay, so on your toes. Take the bull by the horns. So a bull, this is the animal, and the horns of the bull are here. It's these sharp things on his head. Okay, so take the bull by the horns. It means to hold the bull on the horns. And so that's the origin, but the real meaning is to tackle a problem directly, to take decisive action to solve a problem quickly. Okay, quickly. So as soon as we find a problem, we try to solve it quickly. So, an example. Yesterday, many customers complained that John was very rude to them. So today, the manager took the bull by the horns and fired him. Okay, so took the bull by the horns. Took is the past simple of take. Okay, so this is the past tense. So today, the manager took the bull by the horns and fired him. So since this is in the past tense and we're saying today, this must be, it's happened already today. Okay, it's happened earlier today. Okay, today the manager took the bull by the horns and fired him. So the manager tackled the problem quickly and fired him. Okay, so told him that you no longer have a job. And finally, if you take the bull by the horns, you do not ignore a problem, you try to solve it ASAP. Remember this? This was the first one. So you try to solve it as soon as possible. Okay? So that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you are preparing for the IELTS exam, then click here for information about our IELTS online course. And here are some of the videos that I recommend.